According to drone footage, construction on the line actually began. Recent months have seen a lot of debate over the project. As mentioned before, it looks like something out of a science fiction film. Many are asking, how will this turn out now that construction has begun? Is this the beginning of the world's biggest mega project? What will happen if the line turns out to be a trillion-dollar construction mistake that will eventually lead to failure? Will it be abandoned? Let's take a closer look to find out. The line's specific plan was revealed in July 2022 by Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, and we have covered it in our first video regarding the line. He designed two parallel 500-meter-tall buildings composed of reflective glass that would span the desert for 170 kilometers. This would be the equivalent of two lines of 2,000 One World Trade Centers each. The line is not only the most ambitious mega project ever envisioned, it is a new way of life. There wouldn't be any automobiles in the city, and you could get whatever you needed with just a 5-minute walk. All electricity would be generated by wind and solar farms, and any water needed would come from a desalination facility that produces water without any carbon emissions. The line would become a zero-carbon city thanks to all of this. There was a combination of amazement, awe, and mistrust in response to the suggestion. Despite the fact that the trailers were seen millions of times on YouTube and other websites, very little information was available about what was actually occurring on the building site. This led many to think that the line was only a promotional gimmick. However, 3 months after the proposal was introduced by Mohammed bin Salman, the project took an unexpected turn. Construction started. Drone video of the building site was released by OT Sky on October 19, 2022. In the video, excavators are being used to build trenches beside the desert, which will serve as the line's foundation. The footage indicates that the excavation already extends very far inland. It's difficult to determine precisely how far it extends, although they could be quite near the mountains in the backdrop. Neom's website features an official map that shows that the line passes through these mountains after its beginning at this harbor. The footage was probably shot somewhere around here due to the topography and the fact that the water is visible in the background. The length of the excavations may thus be between 10 and 20 kilometers. Additionally, the infrastructure is being constructed around the entire project. There are numerous developments evident on Google Maps. There is a large area with offices, campers, and a Neom community with swimming pools and a football field. There is also a Neom Experience Center nearby the mountains. Since these pictures are outdated, there are almost certainly a lot more now. How could this turn out now that development has officially begun? Nothing in the entire world comes close to this. Therefore, we are left to guess what will take place next. However, we can claim that the outcomes are essentially limited to 3. First, it's possible that the line won't have any residents when construction stops in a few months, or perhaps years. Like the Jeddah Tower or the Dubai Creek Tower, it can become a project with undetermined progress. Both times, gorgeous visuals and lofty promises were presented. When construction first began, it appeared that the structures would be finished. But after that, everything stopped, and nothing further has been accomplished. This appears to be a less plausible scenario for the line, though, given that it has the support of an entire nation and has drawn enormous global attention. A huge potential to attract more visitors and investors to Saudi Arabia would arise if the project is even near completion. The second possibility finds that Saudi Arabia significantly invests in its current ambitions and actually accomplishes what it promised in its trailers over the following decades. Certain aspects, such as eliminating vehicles, producing only renewable energy, and adopting the concept of vertical living, may surely be implemented. But given the project's sheer enormity, it just seems impossible to complete. The One World Trade Center, which took around 8 years to finish, is meant to be comparable in height to the line, as we have mentioned. Even if that is still a decent amount of time, Saudi Arabia plans to erect a building that is 170 kilometers long and the same height. In essence, 2,000 One World Trade Centers would be built in a continuous strip. Furthermore, since there are 2 of these lines in the proposal, it would be equivalent to creating 4,000 of them. We would get to 32,000 years if we just multiplied everything by 8 years. Saudi Arabia would undoubtedly construct them more quickly because they could begin building on several areas at once. But it still effectively conveys the enormity. In essence, it would take centuries to complete. Another example is the 17-year construction of the Three Gorges Dam in China, which required about 40,000 employees. However, it pales in comparison to the line, with a height of only 180 meters and a length of only 2.3 kilometers. However, there is a third potential outcome. But before we get into that, make sure to like, subscribe, and share so we can continue this discussion with the world. Considering they have already begun construction, a compromise might be reached. We question whether this might be the most significant megaproject humanity has ever witnessed or a trillion-dollar construction mistake at the outset. But another choice may be available. Saudi Arabia could construct it, but not to the absurd extent they had in mind. Since the line is designed in 5-minute walk chunks, the entire megaproject may simply be implemented piecemeal. They may simply increase the length as needed depending on demand. Additionally, the project might be made much more realistic and simpler to construct by adjusting the height of the line. The idea of vertical living stays the same at half the height, and all of the characteristics might still be used. Even if the line is constructed on a much lesser scale, it may be the first contemporary metropolis to be car-free and introduce a whole new way of life to the globe. There are several efforts being made all around the world to reduce the number of cars in cities. However, instead of doing away with vehicles entirely, these have only focused on cutting down on car usage. It is quite difficult to change this because the vehicle dominates most large cities. They have a chance to start again with the line. It could be the first major metropolis in the 21st century where there are no more automobile trips. A community's essential facilities should all be accessible by foot. If not, lengthier trips through the whole line can be made using the proposed underground train system. By 2030, the first residents may reside in the hypothetical high-tech civilization, but on a much lesser scale. Which of these scenarios is thus the most probable? What are the opinions of professionals on this crazy project? Few experts will concur that the project is doable, especially given the relatively short schedule. Anthony Vives, who is Neom's chief urban planning officer, told CNBC, "I want to be clear about this. Neom is a complex, bold, and highly ambitious undertaking, and is most certainly not an easy one to deliver. But we are making strong progress, and it's exciting to see the vision come to life." However, several professionals who are not working on the project are raising additional issues. Marshall Brown, who at Princeton University is a professor of architecture, told Dezeen, "There would be so many physical and environmental phenomena that would have to be dealt with to achieve the incredibly minimal and singular character that the renderings propose." What are your thoughts? Will this initiative be successful now that work has begun? When it's done, will people live there, or will this endeavor become a mega project that is abandoned? Please tell us in the comments section. We appreciate you seeing and sharing our videos, and we'll see you back on the next one.